And welcome. We are live here for the SBN studios. We have a very special guest today. I am your host, Alpha Hill 7, and with me is Soden. And we have like I said, we have a very special guest. We have Danny with Access Football, the lead developer of Access Football. How's it going, Danny?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey Dan, question for you. How you doing tonight?
I am doing well. Just got back from my son's flag football practice, so ready to sit down and chat with you guys.
Awesome. What part of the country are you in?
We are in the southeast, just the northern part of South Carolina.
Oh, good weather down there.
Yes.
So, Access Football. I enjoyed I'm on the Xbox, so I enjoyed this year's version of Access Football. It was really cool to see somebody out there kind of, giving a new flavor to the football game, so to speak. What can we look forward to in your new version, your 2019 version?
So what we focused on with the 2019 dev cycle is really two tiers. The first is we went even deeper with our franchise mode. That's something that we really want to build our game around. We feel like there's a huge void in the marketplace currently with a game that's focusing on a really good franchise mode. So that's the first area that we're going to focus. We had a really complete I shouldn't say complete. I should say we had a really good base for 2018. We're adding a lot onto that, giving the user a lot more decisions about how they're managing their team, how they're building their team, and really making sure that those decisions have actual impacts so that the user can see, okay, I made that choice and I can see the consequences, both good and bad, of that decision. So that's the first area. We're going to bring a much deeper franchise mode. The second thing that we're improving on is gameplay. We are very objective about the state of our game. We know that there's a lot of great things about it. It's got huge potential, but there's a lot of areas that it needs improvement on, especially on the console, the Xbox, and hopefully in the next few days, the PlayStation. The performance wasn't super awesome. The gameplay needed some improvement as well. And so working on that, smoothing things out. We've got a brand new player model that's coming in. We've got lots of new animations. So again, big picture, what you can expect in 2019, deeper franchise mode and better gameplay.
And Danny, this is Alpha. I guess I have to ask this because you are talking to an online CFM community. The franchise mode, is it going to offer a 32 owner franchise mode?
Are you talking about connected between like online franchise?
Online, yeah.
Not yet. We would love to, trust me, and that's kind of the direction that we want to go in the future. We definitely want to get to the online arena. Our thoughts are, because the question comes up all the time, when can we play online with our friends? We felt like the first thing that we needed to do was nail gameplay. Right. And really make sure that before we take our game online and people are playing each other across the country, that it was a really good experience. And we felt like if we rushed it and went online first, then people are not necessarily going to have the best experience playing with their friends. And so we wanted to get gameplay down first, and then we are definitely going to move into online.
Excellent answer there. I like that. Nail down that gameplay first. How big is your team of developers that you guys have over at Access Football that can key in on that gameplay?
Well, we recently have expanded quite a bit. When we first started, it was just me. That was back in when we released in 2015 for the first time on PC. And we have since grown, kind of one or two guys every year we've added on. And our team, as it sits right now, we had a new guy join the team 2 days ago. We have 3 developers. Those are programmers that actually work on the game. So me and 2 other guys. We have 2 3D modelers. One guy specializes in environments. One guy is more of a player and animator. We have a graphic designer, product designer, and then we have a producer. So we have a really well-balanced team. In the past, we were very heavy on the programming side, not so much on the art and animation side. So I feel really good about where we are currently.
Very interesting that you bring up that you kind of started this in 2015. What was your personal inspiration to go this route, to start this company and to get Access Football going?
Well, I've been doing video game design myself for, gosh, I think almost 16 years now. I started making Flash games back when I was in high school and college. And when Flash kind of died, um, I had to move to a different platform, different engine. And so I switched over, and the game that was arguably one of the most successful that I made in Flash was a top-down football game. It was actually called Access Football. It was released back in 2010. And so when I was transitioning to a 3D game development platform, I had obviously a huge passion for football because I had made a couple games in Flash, and that's really what I wanted to focus on. There was obviously been several years since multiple football titles had been released, and so that's kind of the inspiration for what got me started in it. And like I said, I started, I think, developing it in 2014. It took me about a year before I released the first version, and it was really bad. We've slowly improved it as people have joined the team. They filled in the numerous areas where I've got weak spots in my development skills. So it's slowly turning into a good product.
So on the gameplay side, you did mention animations there. So how are you improving the animations in this new version compared to the previous version?
Great question. So in the past, because we haven't had any animators on the team, anyone that actually can create or even modify animations, all of the animations in the game we had to outsource. So we were working with a company out of Canada that was doing animations for us. And anytime there was a slight adjustment that needed to be made, for example, wide receiver gets in his stance and his hands are like up above his forehead. We're like, that looks stupid. We need to move those down a little bit. And so that takes 3 weeks because I've got to talk to a guy. He's got to then communicate with his anime. And it's this huge chain of thing, and it takes forever. And so one of the first things we did, and we're really big on this, reinvesting back into the game. So one of the first things we did with some of the money that we made on our 2018 version is we went out and we bought our own motion capture suite, our own software that we need to use to create our own animations. And now we have an animator on the team. We have a guy that can make those tweaks. And so we are recording our own animations. We can get exactly what we want. We've got a guy that can tweak them because, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with the process of motion capture, but when you do motion capture, it's not like, okay, we're done, we can just plug it into the game. There's a lot of little refinements that have to be made before they're game ready. And so we've got that. It's going to take a little bit of time to complete that process, but we now have control over that. We can now get the exact animations we want, and we can plug those into the game now.
So for the guys that have Access Football, last year's version or the current version, what type of changes have you made to franchise that you can kind of go into that's going to be to make it more immersive?
So what we have released so far, and I'll give you guys kind of a sneak peek on it. We are adding coaching staffs. So that's something
Oh,
that
that's
is
awesome.
going to give your team a lot of dynamics with how it grows. Okay, so coaches obviously are going to have their own um, set of stats and how they progress, what they're good at, what they're not good at, all that sort of thing. That's one of the things that we're adding. We're adding team morale, which is going to affect lots of different things across the board. Basically, anything you can imagine the morale of a team affecting, that's going to affect. We've added the ability to control what you practice, and so if you look at how players progress not only week to week but as the seasons go on, this is going to give the user a lot more control over it. So they'll be able to say, all right, this is what I want to focus on this week, but I also want to keep focusing on this to develop my younger players, that sort of thing. We have completely, I'll say, reformatted how the draft works as another huge area that we've improved, giving the user a lot more control and visual indicators of what's going on in the draft. Things like letting them know, okay, this is the best player still available at this position, and this is who it would replace on your team. This is the weakest area on your team, and here's the best available player in the draft. And so giving the user a lot more information like that. Also, little things we've added, being able to go back and click on any game that has occurred in a franchise and pull up all the stats for that game, whether it was a game that your team played in or not. So, and that's just a brief taste of some of the stuff that we're doing in franchise mode.
So it sounds like you also expanded on customization there a little bit, and definitely control. What can gamers look forward to as far as the customization? Because I know this year's version of the game was, or this season's version of the game was actually very customizable on the console.
So consoles are really tough because you don't get access to all of the files that you wish you had access to. PC is a breeze, and to be totally honest, if we were developing solely for the PC, the customization options would be through the roof. But we're trying to kind of go as broad as we can, and the way to do that with the current state of where consoles are to do everything inside of the game. And so, yeah, you can change the name of the teams, you can change the name of the players, you can adjust the stats and all that sort of stuff. But it's an uphill battle as we try to figure out the best way to make that as easy as possible on the users. We have a uniform editor in there, but there aren't quite as many options as we would like. So the customization is a work in progress as Xbox and PlayStation adjusts what files developers and users have access to.
Now, as far as that, the customization go, I kind of want to go on to that. Are we going to be able to upload a customized draft class, or are they just going to be automated?
So if you're playing on the PC, you can change it. If you're playing on consoles right now, you won't be able to. Those are inside of the game. They are randomized, so you're not going to get the same one. First season, no matter what, you're going to get the same one. That's going to be different every year. So if you start two brand new franchises, the first draft is going to be different. But I understand a lot of people want to plug in the graduating college players and that sort of thing. We are looking into options. We haven't come across any good ones. I know that Xbox is making some changes with how they are supporting mods. But right now, that's something that we are still looking into as far as what's the best thing to do.
What about broadcasting? Have you guys done anything new with the broadcasting element of the game?
So one of the things we really want to add in are some really brief cutscenes after a play where it kind of zooms in on the player and you see them walking back to the huddle and that sort of stuff. Things that seem really non-essential but really add to a ton of immersion. That's what we want to add. I don't know if they're going to make it in 2019. I would love for them to. And one of the new developers that we pulled on, we're looking at that as one of the options there. Again, it goes back to what is going to be the most important thing for the user. And you talked about the broadcast view or play style or whatever. We do have that sideline broadcast camera, and you can watch AI versus AI matches. You can adjust the camera, and so that is in the game currently, but we totally understand that different people play the game differently. Some people like to control the players. Some people like to just call the plays. So we have that coach mode in there. Some people just like to manage their team and then watch a simulation play out. So that option's in there as well. So we have a good groundwork in the game currently. We just want to add some features to make it a little bit more, I guess, fun for the user to experience.
So one of the things that really caught my eye, what you said, is the coaching tree. That's something that sim gamers have wanted in a football game for many, many years. Can you kind of expand on that? Are we going to, I guess one of my questions is, there's an A and B to this. A, are the coaches that you hire, are they going to be able to take other head coaching jobs and upgrade? And B, are you going to have scouts to help, the better the scout that you hire, the better, that you can unlock a player that you may be looking to draft?
So, yes, to answer this question. So I'll take the first one. Your head coach or your assistant coaches, I don't know the extent to which we are going to implement outside teams making offers on your coaches. So you talked about you've got an assistant coach, he gets an offer to be a head coach somewhere else, and you end up losing him. Long story short, that will make it in the game eventually. I don't know if it'll be 2019. I would like to, obviously, but I don't want to promise that. I know that'll be a feature that we add in the future. For the second question, dealing with the scouts, yes, that will be in there. We have the way we have it set up, um, and we haven't released this quite yet, but I'll give you guys a sneak peek. You have, I think it's either 4 or 5 scout positions on your team, and each of the scouts gets assigned to a different region or a different league. And each of the scouts also has familiarity with a particular region or league. So for example, if your scout is super familiar with the West Coast, it wouldn't make much sense for you to assign them to East Coast scouting. Okay. When you assign them to a region, it gives you more specific information about the players that are coming up out of that region. And so long story short, yes, it is going to give you kind of inside information about the players coming from particular areas as they enter the league.
When do you expect your new version of the game, your 2019 version of the game, to be released to the public?
We're looking at early September as a rough date. To be totally honest, 2018 was a bit of a mess with how we released it. So we're really good at releasing on Steam. We've done that for several years now. And for anyone that isn't familiar with the process of releasing on consoles, it is a nightmare the first time you go through it. They give you a bunch of code that you've got to implement, a bunch of requirements, and it's way different from lots of stuff. And so learning what they want and how to do it and meeting all of their somewhat odd requirements is really challenging. And so we ended up not releasing Xbox for a long time because it took us forever to figure out how to get stuff set up and how to get stuff implemented. And we're still figuring out PlayStation. We think we're there. We just submitted again 2 days ago. But we will hopefully have a much more synchronized release in 2019, because once you learn how to do this stuff, doing it again in subsequent years becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, that was my next question, is if you were going to try to do a, PC, PlayStation, Xbox mass release at the same time, or if we would expect a PC release and then later on, maybe that month or however long, Xbox and PlayStation release.
The idea will be to release all at once. I made the mistake last year of trying to do it all myself. And so I implemented Steam, released that on PC, and then I started on Xbox, and then I planned to start on PlayStation, and it was just, I killed myself. It was way too much. And by the time I finished Xbox and got that done, and I was working on PlayStation, I was just like, I can't keep going. It's too much. And so part of the delay with PlayStation is the other developer at the time on the team was like, send it to me, I'll take care of it. And so there was a couple week lag because I had to send him the dev kit because he lives several states away from me. And so there was a period of getting him set up and all this stuff. So long story short, our goal, now that we've gone through the process, we know what to do. Our goal is to release all 3 at the same time. If for whatever reason we run into some snags, there won't be much more than a week or 2 gap in between.
Have you or your team discussed any type of pricing for the 2019 version of the game?
We have. We haven't decided on it fully. We are considering a slight price increase. We might jump up to $24.99. Being completely transparent, and I've answered this question a couple of times and have no issue being transparent about it, I guess. When we first released in 2015, our game was priced at $20. That was a high price tag for what you got. 2016, it was again $20. All of our games have been $20. By the time we got to 2017, I feel like the 2017 version was a $20 game. This past year with 2018, again, I feel like it was a good $20 game, especially on consoles. When we get to 2019 and we've got a much more complete game, a really deep franchise mode, gameplay's improving, I think it's going to be a $25 game, but I don't know if we're going to raise the price or not. We want to, at the same time, reward the people that have been really loyal to us, because there have been lots of great fans that have said, we're buying your game, we're going to support you guys, we want football options, even though it's not the game that we want to invest a ton of time in right now, we want to help you guys grow. So we respect them tremendously, but at the same time, we know that we could do a lot with that extra $5 per game. We could really grow the team. We could really reinvest back into it. So it's a tough balance, but we haven't decided for sure.
Well, $25 is still a heck of a discount compared to a lot of the games that are being released now, and even some of them that kind of do the the game's 3/4 of the way done. We're going to let you come in and play for a while, spend 20-30 bucks on that game, and maybe it goes big time, maybe we just kind of pull the plug on it. So I think that's still a heck of a discount at 25 bucks, especially with the amount of improvements here. You've got animation now. You've expanded on the gameplay. I think it's a great deal. Where can fans or new gamers that are listening now, where can they kind of go in and see some of these updates?
So the best way to do it is to subscribe to our newsletter. If you go to accessleague.com and you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a place where you can sign up for the newsletter. Whenever we release information, we always blast it out to everyone subscribed to the newsletter. We also, at the same time, post those same messages to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're on all three platforms. On Twitter, it's at Axis Football. On Instagram, it's the Axis Football. And on Facebook, it's Axis Games. So wish we could keep it a little bit more consistent, but you know how it is.
Well, it's the age of social media, so
Right.
a lot of platforms to get that out there. We're going to go ahead and throw a link up on our website too, so that if anybody has any questions, they can go right there and get that newsletter. Stepping away from Access Football for a minute, gaming. What is your favorite game as a gamer?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Holy cow. To be totally honest, I haven't played a game myself since, gosh, it's probably been 6 years or so, because I enjoy working on, this sounds so cliche. I enjoy working on Axis Football so much that it's like playing games. Now, I will say, I am a huge fan of the classic football games. Obviously, 2K, the early Maddens, that's what I grew up on. Game Day, and so my son is growing up a little bit, playing a lot of games with him. He's into classic Zelda on like the NES and Super NES. So we're playing those. He plays Axis Football all the time, beats me in it sometimes. And so I would say classic football games. It got to be my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know how old you are, Danny, but myself, I'm 41. I really enjoy the Tecmo Bowl, the second one that released
Yes.
on the NES, the one that had all the NFL teams and you could play a full season. I thought that was really cool. It wasn't online yet. I still think back to those days playing my brother and
Yes.
other family members, friends. I really thought that was fun, and I kind of imagine Access Football going that way this year, being able to have your own season and so on and so forth, improve on that gameplay and become an immersive game. It may not be online, but like you said, that gameplay is key, because there are games out there now that, yeah, they're online, but boy, are they lacking in the gameplay department.
Gotcha.
Alpha, you have anything else for Danny before we let him go?
Yeah, one last question. Is there going to be a playable demo?
Oh, great question.
That's a good question. So what we're planning on doing is, if you're subscribed to our newsletter, we're going to be sending out beta testing invites. We did this last year and it was super helpful, not only for us to fix bugs and that sort of thing, but it seemed to be a lot of fun for the testers because they got a early glimpse of the game and that sort of thing. So one, make sure you're signed up for the newsletter so those invites go out to you. As far as a demo that is released to everybody, because I know some games do that. You can like try it out before you buy it. I've got to look into that. I'm not sure if we're going to go that route, but there will be beta gameplay versions for those that are signed up for our newsletter. So that will be open to them early on.
Awesome. Thank you for the time. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah,
I'm sure
absolutely.
you're very busy. Thank you for sitting down with us, and we'd like to reach out to you again in the future here, maybe as you get closer to a release date. Sit down and talk to you again when you're not so busy.
I'd be happy to. Thanks so much, guys, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and
Thanks, Danny.
I want to say, I think that Soda and I may buy, maybe five or six copies and do a giveaway. So that'd be something cool.
Absolutely.
That sounds awesome. We appreciate the support, guys.
Have a good night, Dan.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Thank you. Very
All right.
interesting.
Yeah, very good interview.
Yeah.
Well, how much time we got left?
Well,
Alpha?
it's only been going on a half hour, so we got a little time.
You want to touch into that top 10?
We can. Do you want me to go to the website here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I
bring it
actually
up.
was doing a demo. I signed up for the newsletter and put it on the screen so people could see how to do that. So
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure and put that link up on the website for them too. I know
Yeah.
League Crawler's looking for it as well.
So we are going to go to the top 10 list. And since you actually came up with the top 10 list, I would like for you to be able to tell everybody why you picked teams and left other teams off. So I have it up right now.
Sure. So you have this. You have the screen up. Number 1, I've got the SBSL Seahawks, Coach Taco King. Mainly because if you look at his past 2 games, who he's played, very dominating win against Cincinnati, 41-20 in week 1. And then he played a very good Vikings squad with Waffle there. Waffle's really been dominating the Soden Bowl League. And he edged out a victory there, 20-19 in week 2. Watching some of Taco's games, great stick skills. And then he mixes in that run and pass extremely well. And Seattle's not the most talented offensive team in Madden, but he makes them look pretty darn good. So I have the Seahawks at a comfortable number 1. My number two is probably in the NFL one of the worst teams, but here in the Sim League, I have the SBSL Raiders coach NFZ Shockwave. He currently has the 5th-ranked defense, 5th-ranked offense, and the 13th-ranked defense. He's won both his games easily. He did beat Swing on These, who is a Soden Bowl veteran, beat him 41-27 in KC. Some notes from there. Derek Carr, he's averaging 400 yards a game and 4 touchdowns per game.
I play them next too. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, good luck with that. Number 3, I've got a Soden Bowl veteran here, somebody that's been around since 2011. The New Orleans Saints. He's 2-0, Coach Bearded Dragon, otherwise known as Crow. The Saints come marching in with the 6th best offense and the 17th best defense in SL. He's engineered 2 solid wins through the first 2 weeks of the season. He's played 2 good owners. His defense has 8 interceptions in 2 games. That's 4 picks per game. That's just crazy.
I know.
Number four. This owner has been playing extremely well as of late. His Dallas Cowboys, Triple Aries, they're 2-0. He's in the Super Bowl and Soden Bowl. Comes over to the SL here. He's undefeated. The Cowboys do have a solid roster, a good defense. They do have some playmakers. He has the 16th ranked offense, and he's number 4 in defense. So anytime you can play good defense, you can mix it in with Ezekiel Elliott and just kind of control that game. He is rushing for 5.3 yards per carry, so he's converting first downs, and he's playing lights out on defense. That is a good recipe, and that's a recipe to win a championship in these leagues. So I have the Cowboys at number 4. Number 5 is the primetime winner from last night's game on the SBN Game of the Week. 2-0, coach Mr. Witness 36 coming over from the PlayStation, playing a Hall of Fame owner last night and just playing lights out.
I'm surprised he's not higher. I think that half the league would argue after the beatdown he put on You're Blessed that he should be higher than 5.
Sure. Well, maybe higher than 5, but let's not forget that was his first career game, and that is only his first win. The Dolphins are 2-0, but he's only 1-0. I felt like the Dallas Cowboys, the New Orleans Saints, the Oakland Raiders, and the Seattle Seahawks, who have all won 2 games, I felt like they needed to be above them just because they have one more win in their bucket than the rest of them. Going back to the Dolphins. Dolphins currently hold first place in the AFC East. So
wow.
That is outstanding. That is a talent. Well, the Patriots are extremely talented in that division. So just to kind of get 2 games up on the Patriots now in that division is amazing. He does have the 11th ranked offense, and he is the number 1 defense in the league. Now, if you look at that Dolphins depth chart, that team statistically wise or attribute wise isn't that great. However, you watch Coach Witness play last night, and you would, like, as you said, they look like the Baltimore Ravens out there. I mean, he was all over the place. You add Kyler Murray into the mix, who's playing extremely well on both facets, either running or throwing or play calling or, checking down when the blitz is coming. That team, he made one mistake last night, and I'll tell you what, you wouldn't notice.
Right.
So, Dolphins number 5. Yes, they could be higher. Maybe they will be higher next week. We'll see how he does in his second game. Number 6, the Ragin' Cajun Nacho, Baltimore Ravens, only 1-0, but he did make my top 6, and here's why. He has the 4th ranked offense with a Ravens team that I think that's their weak spot. I mean, their defense is huge, but he has the 4th ranked offense. Tevin Coleman ran for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns in a dominating week 1 performance. He does travel to LA to face the Rams. Now, the Rams are also 1-0 this week. I have the Ravens winning this game. So I think the Ravens slide up to 2-0 and sit in that number 6 spot just behind the Dolphins. Number 7. Number 7 is the New York Giants, who also is 1-0.
Well, hey, I got something interesting to tell you. I don't mean to cut you off, but as we are talking, this is funny. As we are talking, Jimmer and Clutch are playing as we speak, 7-8. Do you want to know the score?
I do.
17-0 Eagles, and they are on the drive at the 24-yard line.
I missed that first part. What was the score?
17-0 Eagles are up, and they are on the drive.
Uh-oh. Did I say that the Giants were number 7? I think I meant the Eagles were number
Definitely a typo, right?
Yeah, definitely a typo. So the game is still young. There still could be a comeback here, but going into this game, I do have Coach JB. I felt like Coach JB was maybe a little more established than legit Clutch, especially when it comes to playoff wins. So the New York Giants, he does have the 14th best offense going into this game, the 18th ranked defense. The Giants roster is a little depleted. They do still, however, have Beckham. They do have some weapons there. He does do a great job of mixing run and pass. Hopefully he can get back into that game. Moving on to the number 8 position, the guy who's currently winning that game by 3 scores, the Philadelphia Eagles, Coach Legit Clutch. The Eagles were flying high into week 2, obviously, ranking 22nd in offense and the number 2 defense in the league.
It's now 20-0. They kicked the field goal with 2 minutes and 54 seconds left. Sorry, keep going.
So Jay Ajayi, week 1, ran for 107 yards on the ground. You combine that, much like Dallas, with great defense, good user skills. And again, a recipe for a championship, and that's a divisional battle right there. So this game has a lot of meaning for both teams.
Absolutely.
Number nine, a new owner to the Soden Bowl Arena here. Carolina Panthers. He does have a loss. He's 1-1. Coach JMO 31. The Panthers had a solid outing in week 1. They could not close out the game against you. You pulled off a nice win there. He dropped to 1-1. The Panthers have the second rated offense. And maybe their Achilles heel here, they're number 28 in defense, or maybe that's just the damage you did to him in week 2.
Could be.
So Coach JMO has some good stick skills. And he is, watching his game tape, I felt he was very good in his play calling. Cam Newton has 8 touchdowns in 2 games. He is on fire. What did you think of playing the Panthers in week 2?
Well, what was really interesting about it is I played him in other leagues, and I attribute him coming over because of the stuff, because knowing him. But man, it was such a good game. It was so fun. It went down to the end, to be honest with you. I think he scored. I had like 2 minutes left. But I was depleted with the wide receivers because I had just traded DJ Chark, and Marquise Brown went down for 7 weeks. So I had like 3 receivers. So it was kind of hurting me a bit, but I was able to drive down the field and score when it mattered. So I mean, it could have went either way, but he's definitely a great user.
So rounding out the list, number 10, I know he didn't play well last night. I've got the 1-1 Indianapolis Colts, and coached Hall of Fame head coach. You're blessed. They looked flat, but they did go against the number 1 defense in the Dolphins. Witness played lights out. I felt Andrew Luck needs to do a better job of getting rid of the football faster to avoid that pass rush. I felt like he just never adjusted. He failed to hit the checkdowns. Sometimes I felt he forced that ball deep trying to make a play, and I think it cost him.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I think Coach UB will bounce back from this. I think the Colts will be fine. The Colts are ranked 23rd in offense and 22nd in defense. And mind you, they were top 10 going into that game last night in both offense and defense. So just a kind of a plug there to that Dolphins defense, man. They really, really got it together and played well. I feel like these Colt numbers, these will improve. I still feel like the Colts are that team in the AFC South that everybody needs to watch out for.
So yeah, not to change the subject, but I had just changed the page there. Why don't you announce our partnership? I don't think we ever did that on video, did we?
No, so we never actually did it on video, and they kind of beat us to the punch here. The Grown Folk Network, the Grown Folk community, online community, great bunch of guys. A lot of PlayStation stuff over there. They don't just do Madden. They do a whole host of other games. Some awesome content coming from those guys. I'm extremely excited to kind of partner with them and pick their brain and see some of the stuff that they do to be successful, and see if we can kind of emulate that here at Soden Bowl, and then share some of our content with them and see if we can help them improve too. I absolutely love this. I am so excited about this. Even before the partnership, I really enjoy the stuff that they do over there.
Yeah, and I've known Nate because I mean, little backstory. I obviously had original Xbox, and then I think some of the stuff they were doing with the I don't know, the Kinect, saying that they could monitor you. Well, anyway, long story short, I went over to the PlayStation, so I was on PlayStation 4 for a short time. I was actually in his league. Man, he's such a great guy. He's got such a great vision for those guys. It's a huge community. I mean, they even have an eFed Wrestling Federation, which is so freaking cool. I was kind of a part of that for a little bit too. Nate has a vision for his league, and to be honest with you, I mean, there are great leagues in PS4, but in my opinion, he's the best league on PS4 right now. So for us to be able to partner with him, like you said, man, just to kind of back up what you said, it's huge. I mean, such a great honor to be able to do that.
Yeah, and if you go to their website, so it's www.grownfolksoc.com. And if you look on our website, you'll find a link to them as well. They're down under some of our supporters down in about the middle of the page. You click them, it'll bring you to their website, gives you their Twitter. These guys have some outstanding content, some very, very good users, owners, gamers, you name it, man. Great crowd.
And the cool thing about it is I think they have 3 or 4 Madden leagues. They're that popular. They have that many. I'm on their website right now. So yeah, they have a ton of Madden leagues. But like if you like golf, I'm a big golf fan. They have a golf club league. They have like where they play PUBG or whatever it's called. I'm sorry. They also play. We were talking about wrestling. And then I think they have some other stuff. It's just a community. It's a bunch of guys that just got together and just want to, play games together, man. That's a cool part about it. And they're all older. They're like, I don't want to say our age because I don't want to give up my age. I'm turning to big 4-0 this weekend. But
congratulations.
Well, no, it's next weekend. My memory's going bad already. You think it would start at 45, but yeah, there's just a great bunch of guys, and Nate's got that vision of wanting to create something special for the PS4 community. So if you are on the PS4 or thinking about going to the PS4, definitely give these guys a look up. They're just phenomenal, and they've actually sent us some really good users. One of which is the Miami Dolphins. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you have a PlayStation and you want to get in on PlayStation leagues, go check them out, guys. I'm a huge first-person shooter guy. I love the Battlefields, the PUBG, the Call of Duty, those type of games. I may purchase a PlayStation just so I can play with some of these guys because I'll tell you, they got it together on their website.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Well, we went over the top 10. We had a phenomenal interview with Access Football. I got to say, I was very impressed with Danny. I'm very impressed with the vision of what he's wanting to do with that. I've been gaming, since I was, Madden for Sega Genesis. So this is huge for me, in the aspect of, man, the coaching tree. I mean, how awesome is that? And the scouts, I mean, that right there is just going to be... I'm definitely going to be picking this up, and I love the fact that he just wants to make it better. And to be honest with you, if he would have said $30, or $35, $40, I still would have bought it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, looking at the changes, his change log here, he listens to the community. Access Football, his developers, they listen to the community, and that is really cool because I feel like to be a successful, at least from a gamer standpoint or a business owner standpoint, you have to listen to your clients. You have to listen to your community, your gamers. And I feel like that's exactly what he's doing. And I did question a little bit when he said he wasn't supporting an online franchise mode. But the reason is because he wants to key in on that gameplay. And I think back to our interview with Mr. Rex Dixon, and what he said it was hard to come out here and produce a football game as your first big time game,
right?
Because there's just so much to cover, and you really need to focus in on that gameplay. And then you listen to Danny, and that's the first thing that Danny mentioned was, hey, look, we need to nail this gameplay down, guys, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what we've done. We've went and we now have the ability to create our own animations. That's awesome. I can't even imagine what kind of work there is in that. But now they have that. They didn't have that this past version of Access Football. Now they do. So I am extremely excited to see what these guys do with that.
Yeah, and to me, it's only the sky's the limit for them. And I totally agree with you on the fact that you cannot do like 100 different things. Like we'll have a wish list for them. There's probably like hundreds of things on there. You can't do all of it and make it great. So why not pick out a couple things, make that great, and build off of that? So I'm extremely excited about Access Football. I will 100% be purchasing it day one. And if I have to spend the money myself, we are going to do at least 5 copies a giveaway. So you and I can talk about how we want to do logistically and what type of drawing we want to do, but we are going to definitely support these guys. And if you're listening, you should too. These guys are great guys. Danny's a great guy. And I know there's a couple other guys active on Twitter as well. They want to make it better, man. They want to, you got to support the small guy, man. I mean, nothing against EA. I want Madden to get better, but man, I want to have choices, and I want to be able to. I want these companies to make each other great, like competition feeds off of competition. So, yeah, that was awesome.
So speaking of competition, you want to talk about next week's interview on SBN? So next week, we are going to sit down with at least the producer for Doug Flutie's Maximum Football on SBN.
Yeah, I'm excited because they just recently announced that they're going to do college, so that is huge. To the fact that I think that they also are going to have their own motion. I mean, obviously we'll dig into that next week, but they're going to have their own college teams and everything. Another great developer that we got to support in this. They are listening to the community, guys. They are listening to what you guys want. The first two things that Danny said, we wanted gameplay and work on franchise. I have been through the forums, YouTube comments, everything. Those are the two things that everybody was harping on with Access Football, and that's the first two things he brought up. That honestly was like, just gave me so much excitement when he said that. I'm excited to sit down and talk to Maximum Football and find out where they're headed, find out what they're doing, like pick their brain and see what inspires them and where they're headed this next cycle. And I don't know if you know this or not, but something really cool. They actually bought a billboard, I believe, in Nashville for the weekend of the draft because they are going to be college. Yeah. It's kind of controversial. People are saying, well, people are, online trolls, you shouldn't have spent your money that way. But I think it's very smart marketing. You get your name out there and people see it, so I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and going back to Danny and Access Football here, kind of close things out a little bit. I felt when speaking with Danny, he was very down to earth. You know how some developers can come off a little bit arrogant. He was not arrogant. However, he was very, very confident. I thought it was awesome. He started out, designing Flash games, and then of course Flash kind of fizzled out there, and then eventually was eliminated, and he went into game development. And he's had this dream of Access Football since day one, and he's really, really working hard on making this thing come true. And I think gamers are starting to pick up on it. He's becoming more popular. Access Football is becoming popular, and it was an honor to have him on the air. And I can't wait to see what they do with this new version of the game.
Absolutely. And it's completely changed my perception of Access Football, because I'll be honest with you, I was one of the critics that was kind of hard on this game, because I follow Ryan Moody and watch some of his videos. But I'm telling you, man, after talking to him, I'm all in. I mean, even if it's not like 100% where I want it to be, I'm going to I'm going to buy this product and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to support him because I want it to get better, and I want him to succeed with this. So it sounds like he's got the gamers in mind. He hopefully I was going to say Mutt and bringing in that whole thing, but seriously though, he's got the gamers in mind, and he wants to develop a game that we want. I mean, you cannot ask for anything more than somebody saying, look, what do you guys want? And then him saying, like, we want to give you guys that. So I know it's steps, it's a process, but you got to trust the process, and I believe in them. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so looking from a console standpoint, price-wise, I know he didn't commit to $25, so that's not set in stone. However, if Access Football does go with a $25 price, I mean, that's what, half of what a regular Xbox game goes for, more than
I am almost hoping, because I was thinking, maybe like $45-$50, but I'm hoping, and I'm not even kidding you, I'm hoping it's a little bit more expensive. Now, some people may be out there like, boo, why would you want? Because remember, he said that just increasing it to $25 is going to help going towards, the next game to develop. So even if it's a little bit more expensive and you're like, man, I don't know, buy it, man, because you're only putting more revenue to develop an even better experience. So I was shocked at 25 was such a, he sounded kind of like it was a steep number, but to me, it's like go 35. Like if that's going to help us get further or faster to where we want to be, let's do that.
Yeah, I can't wait to get a playable demo for that new version of the game.
Me too.
Can't wait to review that thing.
So yeah, guys, if you remember, go to their website, scroll all the way down to the bottom. I did show a really 2-second presentation on how to do that. There's a bar. You just put your email address in, and they'll send you a newsletter. And you want updates on this, right? I mean, I do. I want to know what's going on with it. So I'm really excited now. So
I love developers that listen to the gamers and they respond to the gamers. Some developers, they may listen, but these guys respond, and he acknowledged some of the flaws that were in the previous version of the game, this season's version, and they've obviously tried to address them. So let's see how they do.
Yeah, he's very honest, very candid. So you can't ask for more than that. He didn't, when we asked him if we could ask him any question, he didn't. Nothing was off limits when it came to the game. So you've definitely got to respect a guy like that.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't have anything else, man. Let's see. I play my
That's
game
it,
tomorrow.
my friend.
Yeah. So we do
have a.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say we are going to be broadcasting another game here soon. We do have the interview next week. We are going to be talking about. We have talked about a slight rule change. Do you want to talk about that? With the time.
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
What did you say? With the time, the rule change that we had been talking about.
Oh yeah, so 20. The actual NFL draft class is going to be uploaded here at Advance, so I want to get that out of the way. So don't do your scouting yet, guys, at Advance. And yes, the time is going to be turned down. I don't think there's much argument in the community against that. So yes, we are going to go from 9 minutes per quarter down to 8 minutes per quarter. Try to speed the game up. Try to help those sack stats come down a little bit because they are a little high. And hopefully it leads to a faster, more fun game for everybody.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to not harp on, but kind of emphasize: we are listening to you guys. Okay, so I kind of touch on this on the broadcast, but you have to keep in mind, just because you have a good suggestion doesn't mean that it's going unnoticed or that we're brushing it off. You got to keep in mind we want to make sure that anything that we implement is going to be for the better of the league, and it's at the right time. So just keep the suggestion box going. If you guys hear anything or I'm reading every single one of them. I've been loving all the responses thus far, but this is not our league. This is not mine and Soden's league. It's our league, all of us. So just keep that in mind, guys. You are just as much part of this as we are.
Yeah. So with that said, I want to plug the staff here. Triple Aries running Soden Bowl, the first league.
Fantastic
more
job.
Competitive league. Awesome job. He's got a couple teams open. I would inquire if you guys want to play in a more competitive league. That league is no joke, man. There are some good players in that league, and Triple Aries is lights out running that league. He runs a fantastic.
And I think their Super Bowl is. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know I'm going to forget this because I'm almost 40. But yeah, their Super Bowl is tomorrow night, and I will be broadcasting that live on the Soden Bowl YouTube channel.
SBN. What time is the Super Bowl? Do you know?
I believe they're shooting around 8, so he's going to have some graphics for me. I will be tweeting that out tomorrow to let everyone know.
Ooh, Tripp is making some graphics for you, huh?
Yeah, that's what he's. I'm excited because this is what he specializes in, right?
He is very good, very talented.
We need him to start doing Madden, this for SBSL.
Well, he just needs to continue what he's doing because he runs a great ship.
Yeah.
Shout out to the rest of the staff: Seahawks, Swing on These, Jimmer, Alpha, Shanks, Hoyt, Colids.
And I want to give a special shout out to Colids. He just joined the staff this week and has been doing a phenomenal job with the scheduling. I love that new type of basically what he's doing is he's deleting people's posts and then editing his one post with all the games on there and putting the time. It's a lot of work, and he's doing he's doing a great job of it. And he's been on both broadcasts. I mean, this guy, if there's anybody gaining points for the rewards faster than him, I like to see who it is.
Yeah, no kidding. With that said, too, guys, make sure you're rating your players. Those, tomorrow night, those first set of ratings are going to be, your first 2 weeks averaged together. We're going to get to see who's playing the most sim, the best football, yada, yada, who's rating, who's not rating.
Yeah.
If you're not participating in it, you're not really being that active. I mean, it's just a forum. Fill it out. Tell us how your opponent is.
And we will have the end of the year owner awards. So not really sure on what the specifics of the awards are, if it's just going to be recognition, but we are going to be, looking at the most active, the most sim, the most content, the most immersive, we love the storylines with the teams, man. I love reading that stuff online. So,
well, I'm going to put it this way. My most active owner who scores the highest in those categories, he's not going to have to worry about buying Madden 20.
Nice. That is awesome. So just keep that in mind, guys.
And I'm done, Alpha. You got anything else for everybody?
I don't. I want to thank you, and I want to thank Danny for coming on our show today. We're trying to make it better, so any type of suggestions you have that can make it better, definitely let us know. We're doing another one next week. We're trying to kind of keep this busy. We may not do it every single week, but we're going to try to keep you guys involved in everything we do. We had said from the get-go, we're going to make this the most immersive experience that you've ever experienced. And thus far, I think we've been pumping out a lot of content, a lot of quality content, and I'm just excited for the future and where we're headed. So,
absolutely, guys, subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitter. I mean, it's been blowing up. I can't keep up with the messages and the retweets. It's amazing. And then on YouTube, the views, guys, you guys. Awesome to see you guys watching the videos, liking, subscribing. Excellent job. It keeps us motivated. It gets us out there and lets us bring in guys like, Rex Dixon, Lee Crawler, Axis Football, Doug Flutie's Maximum Football, and then more to be released later once I can confirm them. But we're gonna keep it coming your way, guys. Keep you entertained.
Absolutely. Well, I have nothing else, and it doesn't sound like you have anything else. So with that being said, thanks for watching, everyone. And for Soden, I'm the Alpha Hill 7, and we are out of here. Later.
Later, guys.